and is about giving an introduction to all of you for the BTech in specialization for the computer science and IT department. Okay. Now, as all of you, we know that this year we don't have IT as such in the branch, so all these specializations are basically applicable to all the computer science students, right? That we are admitting this year. Okay. So the concept of specialization basically came into inception because from the industries we started getting the feedback like that the students at BTech level should also have some kind of specialization. Okay, so there should not be any need that to do a specialization in any other or a particular domain. Then there has to be 2 years more of their studies. So why can't we have specializations in BTech itself, so that more specialized engineers can be hired in the industry, right? So because of this reason, we came up with this what I can say, one more feature of Symbiosis Institute of Technology, where we started offering BTech with honors program. Okay, now taking an honors is basically an option for the students. It is not compulsory that all the students who are part of CSIT department or a particular class needs to take these specializations. Okay, they can do the core BTech in computer science as a degree. But if some of the students are more interested into a particular domain or a particular field, then in that case, definitely there is an opportunity for the student to do the specializations. Okay. Now, the students at the end of second year, they have to choose their specialization domain. And the subjects for these specializations basically starts from the third year. That is from your fifth semester. Okay. Now, there are different domains which are available for the specializations, and these domains are very carefully selected. Okay, depending upon the kind of industry trends and the demands that we are foreseeing, based on that we have selected these specialization domains for all the students. Correct. Each and every specialization domain is basically what I can say, headed by a PhD faculty who is a kind of expert into that particular domain, and whose research is also going in that domain, who has various industry connects in that domain, right? So that faculty is basically what I can say is responsible for making this domain more and more interesting for all the students, right? The teaching also of these specialization subjects are done in a different manner. Here, basically, blended teaching is going to be used, where we will have lots of industry interactions also with the students, right? So a particular course, for example, in AI/ML or in game design, would be co-taught by the faculty as well as by the industry course, right? Also, there are many hands-on workshops which will be part of these specializations. Anyways, workshops are also part of your normal teaching or normal core subjects as well, but definitely these subjects, as they are more related to a particular industry technology which is going on, then definitely hands-on would be more required, especially in the final year, where all of you are going to study more advanced subjects of these specializations. Correct. So what is the agenda of today's webinar? The agenda for today's webinar is that we have invited all the specialization heads, right, or specialization members as well, right? And they are going to, answer our queries. And I'm going to ask lots of queries to them on your behalf. And also all of you can ask your queries by putting your questions in the chat window. Okay. So Seema ma'am, can you just show a glimpse of various specializations which are available?
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Just a minute. Okay, so good morning, everyone. I would like to start by just reminding you all this specialization which we are offering to you. Yesterday also we discussed little bit about this, but today in detail we are going to discuss about all the different specialization which we are offering to our students. Right. So as a honor specialization, we are providing AI ML, data science, computing, game design and development, then Internet of Things, and security and privacy. So total 6 honor courses we are providing as a part of the specialization to our department. Some of this are also we are providing to other departments as well as a minor. Then from other departments, uh, us also providing some of the minors from their department, right? Yesterday I told you the difference between the honors and the minors. So this is only dependent on the you are belong to which department, right? So as a CS students, you will be getting chance to have a minor specializations in smart cities and urban analytics, which is provided by the civil department to our department. And then second one is embedded systems. It will be provided by the electronics and telecommunication communication. Then third one is automobile engineering with hybrid and autonomous technology. This minor will be provided by the mechanical engineering department. So if some students are interested in some other domains, like in the other department's domain, out of this they can opt for the minor specialization also. So as I already told you, major advantage related to the specialization is that you will be getting your degree along with the specialization. So in degree it will be BTech in CS with whatever may be the specialization that will be mentioned over here. So it may be from the honors or the minors, but there are some conditions, like each students can opt for only one specialization. That's very important. You cannot go for the multiple specializations. You need to choose only one out of this, either honor or the minor. Whatever out of this total 9, you need to select only one specialization. Okay. So this is the link. Actually it is available, like it is the course structure. This is for the current year who already in a process to go further with the specialization. So for, yes
Seema
ma'am.
ma'am, I
Yes
think
ma'am.
your screen is freezed, so we are not able to see the next slides.
Yes ma'am, just going ahead, just a minute. Okay. So here will be all are the coordinators for this individual specialization. So related to the honors, as I said, this will be conducted by our department faculties. So yes, you will come to know one by one all of this. But today some of these faculties are available with us. So they will be discussing about the different specialization details, right? Yes. So, what are the benefits? So, I can just tell you first, very important thing, that through the specialization, these are the common benefits for all the specialization. You will get a chance to collaborate with your faculties related to some research projects. Then, also, as you will be having some specialized knowledge, so it will be easier for you to grab the opportunity for the internship. Then apart from this, you can also apply for the sponsored BTech projects. You can get the sponsorship for your project. Then as ma'am already told you, this teaching style will be little bit blended. We will be calling different industry expert to conduct the sessions for different courses from this particular specialization. So in that case, you will get a chance to directly interact with the industry experts, and through that you will get a better knowledge, as well as you will be able to form the network, and you will get an opportunity to excel in further career opportunities also, right? And then apart from this, you will be benefited for the different hackathons. Then also your curriculum will enrich definitely, as you will be having some specialized knowledge in a particular domain through this specialization. Okay. So Shruti ma'am, can we start with the like a discussion with the panel members?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So I request all the panel members to please on your video so that I can formally introduce all of you to all the students. First is Seema ma'am only. She's Dr. Seema, and she's basically taking care of the specialization of AI ML as well as the data science. And she's also overall coordinating this activity of specializations for all the students, right? Next, we also have with us Dr. Sonali Tidke ma'am, and she is taking care of the specialization of cybersecurity and blockchain, right? Next, I think we have Gagan ma'am with us, right? And Gagan
Yes.
ma'am is again a team member for the gaming and design specialization. Then we have Dr. Sharnil with us, and Dr. Sharnil is taking care of the Internet of Things as a specialization. And I think we are done, right, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Right? Okay, okay. So one by one, I would start asking the questions with everybody. So Shalin sir, first question, it's on you only. So Internet of Things, how it is connected to computer science? Why computer science students also need to learn about sensors and actuators and all these things?
So if I take a very simple example, before 5 years, we used to have only, let's say, our mobile phone and laptop connected to internet, right? But now usage of internet has increased. So if you observe now, we have two mobiles generally, one laptop, one tablet, right? And then there are some smart gadgets like Alexa, Google Home, or other gadgets also that is also connected to internet. So nowadays, average one person has at least 4 to 5 internet devices connected. Previously, it was only
Correct.
one or two. So day by
Right.
day, so recently Cisco has predicted that by 2020, 50 billion devices will be connected by internet, which was before 10 years only 500 billion. So that kind of paradigm shift has happened in this case. And that's why, because finally for connection you need internet. So I can say that
Right.
in the future 60% market will be covered by IoT. We talk about any field, they need to be finally connected to internet to send data, right, and receive it on fraction of a second and receive information on a fingertip. So that is how the trend
Right.
is changing, and that's why this subject has been introduced.
Right. So, in a grasp, what Sir has explained to all of us is now that technology is entering our lives at a very, very faster pace. Especially post COVID, we will have lots of technology assistance that is going to be there with us on a very, very daily basis, right? So, in this case, also to keep the technology running, we would need a way to find out how this technology is performing, right? What is happening in our environment, and for that purpose, we would be requiring sensors, actuators, or RFID tags, right? And then the analysis can be done. So AI basically analyzes the data. So from where the data is going to come, right? So that data is going to come via the connection of these things with the internet, right? And that is the reason why it is known as Internet of Things, correct? So, sir, what kind of activities are planned for the IoT specialization students?
So what we're targeting is along with theoretical fundamentals. So that is very important to understand. We're
Right,
also
right,
focusing on hands-on sessions. So it will
correct,
be
correct,
project-based learning. We are going to provide them. So they'll be given a project. So along with fundamentals, they will do hands-on on those projects. So that they can actually
correct.
learn that how to interface various physical devices. So we not focus on the simulation, but our focus is on the physical hardwares, that how to interface, how to connect
Correct,
with various layers like cloud, so Google Firebase, AWS, and how
right,
to store that data in some mobile app or web interface. So all those things they
correct,
learn.
correct. So lots of hands-on, lots of work with the sensors and Raspberry Pis are expected in this specialization, and everything is going to be taught in the classroom in the form of projects to all the students, right? So, sir, but once a student is taking an IoT specialization, then what kind of career prospects those students are having? Are there any very niche or specific areas where they can apply, or there is a broader perspective to this domain?
Actually, IoT actually covers most of the aspects. So if I say that IoT is a combination of four layers: physical layer,
Right,
it's a sensing layer, then network layer, cloud layer, and application layer. Right.
right,
So if I start with physical layer, then there is a IoT infrastructure engineer. There is a requirement, or those who
correct,
are actually good in interfacing of sensors and connecting with controllers And then they also need software engineers who can code in Python, C, MicroPython, etc. Then at network layer, again, they need computer network engineers. So all the people even who are CCNA certified and those people are actually required. So basic networking jobs are also part of IoT. Then at cloud layer, there are two concerns. One is security. So there are cyber security engineers are also required. So even though they know their security domain knowledge, they are also required in IoT. Along with cloud architects are also required because finally they need to handle cloud data. And then at application layer, again, the web programmers who are not dealing with basic HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, React, and all those APIs, they are also required. So basically, IoT covers most of the domains, which are all the existing technologies covered by IoT. So there are so many different directions to can work in.
Correct, correct. But if, for example, a student is basically confused about would he like to go for an IoT domain or not? So how do we help the students in selecting the specializations? How do we help the students in, streamlining their thoughts and helping them to choose a specialization which they might be interested in?
So one thing I can say that specifically those students who are interested in computing networks and cloud computing, because in future these technologies will become a support system or it will become slowly absolute. So finally, it is actually taken care by IoT only. So those who are interested in this computing networks and cloud computing, they should straight away go to this domain because finally this is the future. So these were the pre-sites, and now we are actually we are converting these things into IoT. So not only just connecting systems, but we are connecting people as well as things like tube light fans, smart gadgets, sensors, everything. And then now what is happening is sensors are our eyes. So if you just take our own example, we are in a car, right? We need a parking sensor to park our car, right? So at home we need CCTV cameras everywhere to observe various activities and motion detection all. So everywhere, even camera is a motion sensor. So everywhere we are surrounded by sensors, which are our eyes. And these sensors are static, so it actually extract a lot of information, but the information should be processed to convert that into some kind of knowledge. That is where IoT plays a role. So for those who are interested in these domains, they should like now directly switch to this domain because this is the future for them.
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for answering all these queries and giving a glimpse of what is there in the Internet of Things and how the basics works and how we are planning at SIT to teach this specializations. So Shivansh has asked a question that is this webinar applicable for CSE core also? Yes, because these specializations are available to you people only, which you can choose after your second year. Right? Okay, thank you so much, sir. So next, we can move ahead to Sonali Tidke, ma'am. So Sonali, ma'am, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
She's there. Yes, yes.
Yeah, but
Sonali
I think, ma'am, you are on mute.
can you?
Okay, she's not able to mute. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, now they made me co-host. Yes, I can unmute now.
So, Sonali ma'am, one trend which is, is there in CSIT's AIML, and second trend is about cybersecurity, right? Why? Because the more faster we are moving with the technology, at the same time, we are also finding that lots of loopholes are present in the current security, and it is not a secure association of human beings with the technology, right? So we have to make that hand holding very, very secure. So how cybersecurity is going to play a role in the future and why we would be requiring more and more engineers in this domain?
Okay. So see, if I start with, so nowadays because of pandemic, everyone is like moving towards the online media. So everything is going on digital and not in this pandemic, but earlier also lot many things were already in the digital format. So if you are connected digitally anywhere, like if your computer is switched on, means you are vulnerable for any kind of attack. So once you are connected to a digital media, any kind of, yes, you can be attacked. Now if I just check, like just consider one domain, like blockchain is one domain. So if I consider blockchain in 2020 year, in the last year, in a single year, $3.8 billion were lost by the cybersecurity related attacks. So people are not initially paying much attention. Like a very simple example, when earlier we used to log into the banking websites, and if you don't enter the correct password, still it will keep asking you to enter the correct password number of times. But now with the type of hackers and all, they limit it to the three entries. So if you are logging to the banking, internet banking kind of website, if you make three wrong entries of password, you are blocked for the day. So because the attacks are increasing, because we are converting, or we are now totally being dependent on websites or the apps or all kind of digital medium. And because of that, the hackers are, earlier hacking was just for fun. So just people wanted to crack someone's password, because I feel very like happy, okay, I tried to crack the password. But now password cracking has become easy. It's like just a kind of like I
Child's
can
play
see
it
that,
is now.
yes, it's like now a regular thing. But
Correct.
now the people are more money minded, so they can hack websites, and or they can hack apps, your accounts, they can steal your personal information. um, See, if like we are not that famous, and if my personal information gets hacked also, they won't find any like crucial information. But if you think
Correct.
government servers are hacked, so like where the patent information is stored or the financial details are stored, so that kind of servers when gets hacked, it costs a huge amount of loss. And because
Right.
of that, now everyone is paying more attention to the cybersecurity domain. So this if I have to mention that every year, because of cybersecurity attacks, the world or the companies are losing 4 into 10 raised to power 12 dollars. So it's like its pronunciation is also like it's very big number, four
Difficult.
and then 12 zeros. So that kind of amount every year people are losing, like the companies are losing. And because
Right.
of that, it makes it very much necessary for companies to now invest more in cybersecurity.
Right. And one more perspective to this is that the current generation, what we have, or the current population that we have, out of that, almost 60% of the population is something which is, middle aged.
Right,
So teaching them cybersecurity now is going to be very, very difficult to take care, that you only take care of, all the transactions that you do, especially the senior citizens, they are not able to understand it at all, right?
right,
So a feasible option for us is to strengthening the system itself,
right,
right? And for that purpose, we need more younger generation engineers who can work in this. So dear students, here again the take back points are that the way we are moving ahead in the technology not only needs to be developed, the technology also needs to be maintained, and also the technology also needs to be made secure, right? Now an example of Fitbit, if you take, so Fitbit, when it started, it was such a boom of using the Fitbit devices, right? But again, when some of the attacks got established in the Fitbit, now even though it is available too much, still people are very hesitant to use them, right? Why? Because we know that the data privacy is a very, very big issue in this case, correct?
yeah.
So
So
for that reason, for any of the technology to get commercialized, for any of the technology to get utilized for the human goods, we also need to make sure that the technology is secure, because then only the adoption of the technology is going to be there, right? And for this purpose, there is definitely lots of scope in this case, right? So
yeah,
Sonali
so
ma'am, can you give
yeah.
an overview regarding how this specialization of cybersecurity is planned, and how the implementation of cybersecurity specialization is also planned?
Okay. So yeah, if we go with the cybersecurity specialization related subjects, so we are having total 4 subjects, which we start from semester 5. So all these subjects we are trying to implement them using hands-on. So like we have one subject, software security. In that, all the tools, different kind of tools we teach. Now there are like different domains or the subdomains in the cyber security itself. Like you can try to secure the website, you can secure the apps, you can secure your IoT devices, you need to secure blockchain, you need to secure cloud, so you need to secure your operating system. So everything whatever is connected, you need to secure them. So what we are doing in this specialization, we are training the students through industry experts, and we are focusing more on the hands on. So our target, the initial target is after the first semester of specialization itself, students should be able to start participating in bug bounty programs. So now I would just like to mention here about the bug bounty programs. So many big organizations, like you consider Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Adobe, or a lot many other big organizations, they have started the bug bounty programs. So what happens is they just open a platform for every cyber security expert to find out the issues or the problems or vulnerabilities into their websites or their applications, and based on what you have identified, they pay you. So a very simple example, just a few days back is the case. There is one student of third year from Delhi, Aditi Singh. So she participated in one such bug bounty program, and she found a vulnerability in the Microsoft's website. So they paid her $30,000, means approximately 20 lakh rupees, for finding just one error in their website. So that can be some big error. Then the Facebook, similar kind of issue she highlighted in the Facebook. So they paid her $7,500, and she is just a third year student. She started her study on cybersecurity from her first year. So, and she is a self learner. Like it is not required that you need someone to guide always. Whatever is available, you can start reading. So that is what our focus is in our specialization. In the first semester, at the end of first semester only, our students should be able to participate in such ethical hackings, because a hacking can be we can say ethical and unethical. So if you are trying to break my password without my knowledge, maybe just for fun, but that is not ethical. But yes, if I want to check how much my password is secure, and if I am asking you to try to break my password, then that is the ethical. So that is only a small line between ethical and non-ethical or unethical things. So we are just going to try all the tools on ethical basis, so that the students can start participating in bug bounty programs at least.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And this is such a good news that one of our student is doing so well in cybersecurity. Right now, Seema ma'am, next question is for you only. That can you please elaborate about the specialization in AI and data science both?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So, as I already told you, related to the little bit about the AI, ML, and data science, but now to in the today's session, I would like to tell some more details because these terms are very, very popular these days. You all are knowing this, like you are just hearing the names related to very famous job roles also related to AI, ML, and the data science, like a data scientist and all. It's very very famous, but technology is required to go till that particular or grab those job roles or get good opportunity in the industry. You need to know so many things. Basic concepts need to be cleared related to the machine learning. Then definitely so many things are there under that. So I would like to first tell you some differences between the very popular terms you may heard about it, like artificial intelligence. Then machine learning. In machine learning, you may heard about the deep learning and also the data science. So so many people are aware about this term, but what is the difference? That's the problem for understanding and going ahead. And out of that also, which you can just target for like excel into one particular specialization, that also need to be understood, right? So like basically artificial intelligence that was coined in the 1950. It was so early one. It's not that this is gaining popularity now only. This term is was existing one, but like later in middle time it was little bit low, like very few researchers explored concepts related to this. And then it is nothing but actually artificial intelligence is something like we are trying to simulate the things how are actually human being like working, right? So human beings brain is working in a particular fashion. So similar thing we are trying to adapt for the machines, right? So later in 1980s machine learning term also got popular. And then machine learning is like you can say a particular subset of the artificial intelligence. It is a part of artificial intelligence, right? So in that we are making our machines actually smart, you can say. We can utilize this particular technology for the automation and everything, right? Then deep learning is a subset of machine learning. It's the extended part, and this is gaining popularity from last 10 years. And the currently actually it's very very popular, deep learning. So it's if you look at the actual functioning, that is little bit complex, but it's giving very very accurate results. And like we are proceeding with lot of data, right? We are accumulating every day lot of data in our devices also, right, in a regular basis. So this data can be utilized very well with the help of this techniques, deep learning and all. So like to solve the real world problems, right? So now you may be having little bit question about the what is data science, how it is different from the this AI/ML, right? So AI/ML is the one where you will be learning more related to the algorithm, then more related to the actual techniques, right? And data science is the one where you will learn to play with the data, so you are more focused towards your data. So this is the basic difference. Data science is also the one like, which is a blended one. There you will require machine learning knowledge also. But statistics, then other like algorithms related knowledge also will be required. As well as for AI/ML and data like both the specialization, I can suggest you need to have a good fundamental knowledge of the mathematics and the statistics, along with some languages. So there are very popular languages, Python and the R language, which you need to learn. So out of that few languages, you will be starting from your first year, second year, you will be learning some languages. And then during specialization also, you will be having some, right? So this will be the scenario for your like a basic prerequisite, I can say. Then you can start as like Sonali ma'am also suggested, it's not necessary to wait till your third year. You can start from first year itself. If you find the your area of interest, you can start exploring different tutorials or the prerequisites which we are suggesting to you for a particular specialization. And then you can just go ahead with gaining more and more knowledge related to the specialization. Then I would like to also tell you about the different problems which actually can be solved with the help of AI/ML and data science. As I said, nowadays we are having large amount of data with us, and that can be utilized to gain the hidden patterns between, and it can be utilized to solve different real world problem. So it's not limited to a particular domain. You can just say it can be utilized for solving the problems in the banking sector, like a finance related sector, then like government related issues you can solve. Apart from that, different domains, you can think about the IT industries. Whatever problems they are solving, they are incorporating the AI ML related experts also to solve the different problems, right? Then like a retail sector is there, then even you can think about the civil, then or the mechanical industries are there. So whatever problems related to this different domains, whatever core branches are available in the engineering, related to each branch, you will have lots of problems, and those can be solved with the help of AI ML. In the industry, for the automation of the machines, it can be utilized. So it's not limited to one particular domain. You can like in every domain you will find AI and ML these days. And also the data science, right? So data science specifically help you to predict the things, and then based on the existing data, it will help you like which trend will be there. So in the business, it is very very important to get a knowledge about the upcoming trend, then outgoing trend. So based on that, business people can take the decisions, and they can avoid some risk, or they can gain the more profit, right? So
Right,
if
right.
yes, if you are having the data with you, lot of data, then you can make use of it with the help of data science techniques and get the maximum profit.
Right.
So this is yes ma'am, related to the applications which I told. So I hope students will able to just relate with these things, and according to their interest, they can just decide at this point where they
Correct.
want to go. Yes
Correct.
ma'am.
See, one very important question has been asked by Shivansh, that how can we know which specialization is best for me in the first year itself? So, no, you don't have to decide in the first year itself that which
Yes.
specialization is good for you. That you have to decide at the end of your second year. So, this we are just trying to give you a glimpse about, various application areas of computer science where currently, the computer science is moving, right? And how these areas are incorporated in your curriculum. Okay, so this is the main agenda of today's webinar, right? Now, next, Gagan ma'am, are you there?
Yes, ma'am is there. Just a minute. She's unmuting herself.
Okay.
Yes,
Hello.
Gagan ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
I'm
You are audible.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yes, ma'am.
Gagan ma'am, can you let us know about, some what I can say future prospects of the gaming industry, and what role engineers are basically playing in the gaming industry? Why engineers are needed there, especially CSIT engineers are needed there.
Actually, due to COVID-19, there is a huge surge in the video game revenue. So as compared to 2017, 18, and 19, 2020 and 20 has shown a huge surge. So it is all because of due to this pandemic. So, so we can well imagine that how many opportunities we can have in this field. So, lot of game designers, game testers, the industry require them. Level designers, sound engineers. So, industry require them because there is a huge revenue in the video game industry. So there are major roles in the industry that one can opt for. So one can be a game programmer, one can be a level engineer, one can be a sound engineer, game tester, game designer. So there are various roles in the industry that are available. Now, one question that students generally ask about games is that how much programming language, how much knowledge of the programming language is required for opting for this course. So, not advanced programming language is required for opting for this course. One doesn't have to be a coding wizard to develop games. Anyone can do it. as long as they have an idea and a passion to do it. So all it needs is a spark of creativity, basically. So we have many more examples in front of us. There are many game developers, and there are of especially popular games. Those who were not from the they were not very good at programming. So not all game engines. So actually, in order to develop a game engine is required. So it is similar to an IDE. So game engine, it consists of all the required tools to build a video game, like physics, AI, models, sound, UI, APIs. So it contains all these things. So not all the game engines. So the popular game engines are like Unity, Unreal. So these are the popular game engines. So the all game engines, they do not require advanced programming knowledge. So some engines use visual scripting or simple event based programming. So game engines can either be too simple, that require like a drag and drop mechanism and visual scripting, or simple event based programming. They can be complicated as well. So there are certain engines which require developing a game from the scratch. So it's up to the students that which game engine they want to use. Either we can develop very good 3D games using both the types of engines. So it's up to the students to decide whether they want to opt for the like visual scripting based game engines, or the entire which are based on the programming languages. So, for example, Unreal Engine is a very popular game engine, and in that, there are both the options are available. That the student can go for the option that wherein they will have to develop the game using the code only, and they can go for the option where they can do it using visual scripting or simple event-based programming only. So, this specialization again, it is going to start from the fifth semester. So we will teach them 4 courses. So introduction to game development, principles of game design, modern platforms in game development, entrepreneurship in game development, and we will have projects and seminars, and they will definitely get a chance to pursue their internship in good organization. So there are many popular major roles in the available, and they can opt for any. And we can have hackathons also. So in game design, the hackathons are known as game jams. So where the students will get a chance to participate in the hackathon. So they will be given a theme and a time limit, and within that time limit, they will have to develop a game, and they can get a chance to win huge prize money. Ma'am, you are on mute.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gagan ma'am, and for giving all the information regarding
I
the
can't
gaming
hear you,
industry.
ma'am.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am, you are
Hello?
audible.
Yeah. So, which means games are not only meant for playing for hours, but we can also design these games for different people. Correct? So, in this case now, I think we are almost done, Seema ma'am, with all these specializations. One more important specialization which is available, and that specialization is the specialization of your cloud computing, right? Now, we see that,
Yes.
all the applications that are getting developed, all the applications are getting deployed on the cloud itself. Why? Because nowadays, gone are the concepts where, we are owning the complete infrastructure for the softwares that are getting provided to various people, right? Mainly it is about that we can upload everything to the cloud, and then via cloud it will be given as a service to various people. Correct? So even that specialization of cloud computing is available at SIT. And if you take example of AWS or Microsoft Azure, or for example Google cloud platforms, so all of these are nothing but the upcoming cloud platforms which are very, very widely used, And even in the industry, all the applications that has been developed, all those applications are slowly migrating to the cloud environment, right? So having the basic knowledge of what the cloud environments are and what do we mean by Microsoft Azure or what do we mean by Google Cloud platforms is very, very important for all the engineers. Why? Because once you will go there, even the smallest of the applications, there is no local, what I would say, space where that application would be stored. Again, that would also be uploaded to the cloud itself, correct? So for this reason, there is a specialization in cloud computing as well. Why? Because lots of cloud engineers or full stack developers are also needed in the industry, correct? So this is again one more specialization that we wanted to talk about. So is there any more questions, students, that you would like to ask? Then Vishal sir, you can unmute the students as well so that they can ask the questions directly to all of us. Okay, so Sangeet,
Yes.
your image processing is going to be part of AI specialization. So in future, you can take AI as a specialization ahead. Yeah, I think most of the questions we have already answered in the chat window also, as well as we also had lots of discussion regarding, various specializations, right? So one more question that was coming to my mind was that, ma'am, is this specialization paid or is it included in the, what you can say, the fees itself? And when the classes of these specializations are going to get conducted?
Yes, ma'am. So actually, the specialization is a additional one. As I said, like it's not compulsory to all the students. Students who are interested, those only students can opt for this specialization. This will be the additional, students will have additional courses, and for specialization, students need to pay separately apart from their regular fees payment which they are doing for the BTech enrollment, right? So that will be done at the time of whenever we will be starting the specialization. So we are starting it in the semester 5th. So in the third year we will be starting. So before just starting third year semester, they need to pay the fees for this, just before 1 month, we can just say. So in the fifth semester, this courses actually will start. So teaching and everything will start in the fifth semester, but these courses are divided for the different semesters. Semester 5, 6, and 7. Two courses will be there,
Subjects for
and then seminar and the project will be there in the semester 7th.
Okay, okay. So it's a quite
Yes.
an extensive plan which is there for the specialization, but at the same time, dear students, the care has been taken that all of you are not too much overloaded only with the specialization subjects. There is a very right kind of balance that is maintained between your learnings of the core subjects and your learnings of your specialization subjects, right? So one last question is that can you please let me know that do we get more maths related subjects in data science? See, all of you don't need to be, so much of scared of maths. Why? Because maths is going to be there in your core engineering also, and maths is also there in AI, ML, or data science also. But if you look at it from a very logical perspective, all these maths is not something which is very jargonish maths where you will not understand the equations or you will not understand the logic, right? Why? Because computer science subjects, whatever we have, everything is based on some kind of logic. Why? Because the softwares that get designed or the products that we design or the research that we do, everything has some kind of implementation logic behind it. There is a reason why we do step A and then only we do step B, correct? So in this case, even start looking at the maths which is involved in all these subjects also from a different perspective. We don't have to mug up these maths, right? We have to understand the logic and why such kind of mathematical equations are formed and how can we use these mathematical equations to solve some real life problem. This is what is very, very important, right? So there is no
Yes.
run away from the maths in any way, but try to understand it in a more logical manner, then it will become very, very easy.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to add one point
Yeah.
related to the same thing. So, students no need to worry about the maths, and this courses will not fully with the mathematics or something. Here, you will be learning, yes, different tools and technologies. So, currently, we are having lot of advanced tools where existing libraries are available. You will be getting aware about those, and like how you can utilize that for finding something out of the given data, that will be there. So you will be learning about the advanced tools, how to use that one. That was the thing, so no need to worry about the mathematics much, I feel.
Yeah. So I think, ma'am, we are done with all the questions also, and even the questions from my side are also done for all the specialization experts. So we can definitely, wrap up this webinar session, and then we can share the link of these recordings on the Google Classroom as well, so that the students who have missed attending this webinar would also be benefited by listening to the recording of these today's session, right? So very big thank you to all the specialization heads and the team members who have came today and given a glimpse of what all specializations are available for the students, right? So dear students, I want all of you to understand these, that not only specializations per se, these domains are important, but these are the domains where maximum CS and IT and AI engineers are working into, correct? So even though you take this specialization or you don't take this specialization, but these are those future what I can say, domains where all of you are expected to work into, right? So, ma'am, will you explain
Yes.
in depth about all the subjects in computer science? The program structure for computer science is uploaded on the website. So I request Umair to please go through that once, okay? And also the Google Classroom has been formed for all the students who are admitted into CS class as well as AI class, both. And there also we have faculty members who are interacting with all of you, giving you very nice informations on a daily basis, and they are also trying to arrange more and more interactive webinars for all of you, right? So yeah, I think we are done. Course structure of the specialization course. Once, Pritul, you please
Yes.
come to SIT, and then we will give you course structure, assignment structure, exam structure, everything, right? Okay. Okay, so I think we are done, and thank you all for joining. And again, tomorrow also there are very good webinars that are planned for all of you in the CSIT department, so all of you can join those also. Okay, yeah, okay, chalo then.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
Yeah, okay, chalo, bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much everybody for joining.
Thank you all.
Yeah.